Good afternoon to you. Is always the focal spot come the 31st of December. What plans do police have in place tonight?
Good afternoon, Jeremy. Well, earlier we were actually at the Hillbrow police station. It's quiet at the moment, just like it was earlier on when we were at the Charlotte Maxeke Academic Hospital. But of course, police and emergency services personnel, as well as the hospital staff at Charlotte Maxeke, say they expect more chaos actually and mayhem. Those were the words that they used actually as the day goes on and as the night creeps in. Of course, Jeremy, we know that there'll be a lot of celebrations, and in the years prior to the one we're at right now, Jeremy, about 3 years ago, we used to see people, for instance, in those flats around Hillbrow and Berea, throwing furniture down from floors higher up, and of course hurting a lot of people who might be walking along the street. And so we're hoping that police in the 3 years that they've been policing those areas, especially on the 31st of December in the past 3 years, there's been no activity like that. And so we're hoping that there'll be more preparation with that. But of course, there's also the wet weather conditions, and the police as well as the hospital staff are hoping there'll be a slight decrease in criminal activity because of the wet weather. But actually, sometimes they say this doesn't deter anybody when you look at month end besides the 31st of December. But I do have with me, as you said, the head of communications, or rather the representative of the Gauteng SAPS, and he communicates for the Gauteng SAPS, and that is Lieutenant Colonel Lungelwe Dlamini. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. You're live on ENCA. We do know that the Minister, as well as the MEC of Community Safety in Gauteng, said there'd be officers, and officers would not get leave, for instance, during this festive season, to look after those living around Johannesburg and around Gauteng. How prepared are you for a night like tonight, where we know that it gets very busy with the celebrations?
There will be high-level deployments, especially in hotspot areas. These who are looking at Sunnyside, who are looking at Hillbrow, who are looking at Berea, who are looking at Johannesburg Central, also at the riverfronts in Citibank, and we are looking at all the dams around Gauteng.
Now, so what is it that, besides adding more police officers on the streets, what more have police done to prepare themselves for, tonight? Sometimes we've seen incidents, besides New Year's Eve, we've seen incidents where, people are brazen, even with police officers around, they still, engage in criminal activity and things like that. What is it exactly that the police have done to prepare themselves and protect the citizens of Gauteng?
We had engagements with several members of the community, including those that are trading in liquor. We expected them to close at a certain time tonight, and we also contacted some leaders of the communities to make sure that they must talk to the communities that violence, it's not an option. When they want to celebrate, they must celebrate peacefully.
Now, Lieutenant Colonel, what is it that goes wrong? We know that alcohol is also involved there. A lot of the nursing staff and rather hospital staff that we spoke to at Charlotte Maxeke say most of the time it's the fact that people engage in activities and they take some alcohol that after consuming the alcohol they end up doing things that they shouldn't be doing. Where are we going wrong in terms of, like you're saying, you've communicated with leaders and owners of businesses such as Shabin's to close early, but sometimes they don't, and they don't adhere to that. Where are we going wrong, and what can we do to make sure that this, the number of people that get arrested and go to hospital decreases in the years?
Most of the problem is alcohol, but unfortunately we cannot stop people from drinking alcohol. But we always advise them to take precautions, like in midnight. They mustn't be going out in the streets because they can be injured by some of the people that they are throwing objects to the street.
And of course, though, just lastly, we know that not all police officers are bad, but your message to those who might be, who might want to take bribes, for instance, instead of arresting and protecting the citizens, what is your message to those police officers?
We are urging members of the community not to to give bribes to the police officers, but any police officers who want a bribe, they must be reported to the authorities. They can phone the police emergency number 10111, or they can phone Crime Stop at 08600 10111. And the members of the law enforcement agencies who are engaged in corruption, they will be immediately arrested, and we'll make sure that those bad apples are taken out of the service.
Thank you very much, Colonel, for your time. Well, Jeremy, also down the road, I saw a stage being put up, for instance, by the Constitution Hill. As you know, my colleague Slindelo Masigane will be there tonight for Afropunk. There's many other celebrations that are going on around Gauteng, besides the fact that in the city of Tshwane, they did cancel that celebration that happens around Church Square. There are a lot of celebrations that are happening either personally with friends or anywhere else. So we're hoping that, police will be on the lookout for those criminal activities that might happen, and we hope that there won't be a repeat of what happened during that Global Citizen Festival, where criminals just decide that they're going to take people's cell phones from some of these celebrations that will be happening around the province.
All right, Maseko Ratlaka, for the moment, thank you.